This is Tehachapi. Sit back and relax as Key, Corey, Greg, and Ashley talk about what's happening in and around Tehachapi.
And welcome into another Tehachapi. Corey Costello, Greg Garrett here with you on this edition today. And today we are talking Memorial Day, and we're happy to bring back our friend, the commander of American Legion Post 221, Kevin Davey. Kevin, good to see you again. How are you?
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so here we are, and we were talking talking Memorial Day once again, and we were having this conversation before we started recording today. We've always talked about not a celebration, but now this year you're going, you know what? There is a little bit of a celebration to it. Let's talk first of all the event, and then we'll get into the sort of idiosyncrasies about Memorial Day. So what's the big plan this year for the American Legion and the Memorial Day celebration and the events that are going on?
We're going to be doing the same thing that we've done in the past. Is going to be a parade, and which will end up over at the Central Park, and then we'll do a ceremony.
So the parade is going to arrange or start behind the Hotel Row on F Street.
On F Street, yes.
8:30 in the morning. And who can walk or ride in the parade? What's the invitee list look like?
There's really no restrictions where everybody's going to need to sign a waiver, and have two people over there that they'll be signing people up and putting them in order, because we usually don't get a lot of reservations, and then the day of everybody
shows.
So, yeah.
Right, so you can pre-register, but most people just show up.
Yes.
And if you want to walk in the parade with a flag and just show your respect, then that's allowable.
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Yeah. We encourage participation.
Okay, so what's the easiest way for if they do want to register in advance? Is it come to the Legion office? Is there your website? What would be the best thing for you all?
That's a good question, because Dean Peterson's handling that part of it. Okay. So I'll try and make sure I get the information over there.
So you can always contact Key Budge at City Hall or Corey, but we can facilitate.
Yeah, you can always
appreciate it.
You can always send us an email, which is media@tehachapi.com as well. And we can just get that pointed in the right direction if people want to register for that. So that's going to be on Monday, May 29th. That's the day. We should start with that. The parade will begin at 10 a.m. Lineup, obviously, earlier than that. And again, I think in the past, a lot of the parades, traditionally, they've tried to start at the old Kmart parking lot, but that gets a little tricky when you're further down route because people get spread out. So we sort of figured let's condense our parade route a little bit, and let's line people up on F Street behind the hotels. That way, it's a cleaner start.
Right, yeah, because when we were trying to merge everybody from the Kmart parking lot and the outside streets, then it was traffic jam.
Yeah, and then further down the route, you have some gaps, and so we're hoping this might, be
a little
safer.
more organized, a little more safer.
And a little more organized as well.
So we're gonna march down F Street all the way to Davis.
Correct.
And then head south slightly to the next block, E Street.
Correct.
And then go right in front of Philip Mark Central Park, and then wind up on Mojave Street, and then we'll flow into the park for the actual ceremony.
Correct. The ceremony is going to kick off promptly at 11 o'clock, so we like people to go ahead and take their seats and get ready. And we're going to start with a moment of silence to honor Armistice, and after that, we'll begin with the ceremony.
Okay. And there's a significance in the time, 11, and then...
Yeah, 11/11 was the armistice, where they signed for World War I.
That's right.
So what does the ceremony entail this year? I know in the past you've had speakers and that sort of thing. So what's sort of the lineup, and what can folks expect at the park this year?
Well, we're going to do the typical military honors. Obviously, we start with the national anthem, and we're going to have a rifle salute. This year's guest speaker is Father Wes Clark. He's a local here, and also a veteran. He's a colonel in the Air Force, or retired, sorry. He's going to be our speaker, and he'll also be doing our prayer and benediction.
Nice.
Okay, great.
Excellent. And what... In the past, what has this event sort of brought out from folks? I mean, obviously there's always appreciation and that sort of thing, but from your sort of gauging the situation and the event, what do you see that people get the most out of this event?
I get a lot of feedback from people because every year we get a list of the names of the people that here in Tehachapi who have passed, and we want to remember them. So we end up reading their names and with the bell. And there's a lot of family members that come out because, they want to be there when we honor their family member. And so they come out for that, and obviously for everybody else. But it's somewhat of a solemn occasion. But in researching the history of it, I found out that the first one that they actually went all day long which is pretty long. And they had guest speakers, probably about 30 in attendance. And people picnicked there and kind of made a day out of it with their kids and everything else.
So we were talking, Memorial Day is to honor the fallen. We're
Correct.
memorializing them. But also some people, these days have a celebration of life.
Correct.
So we talk about funeral, celebration of life, Memorial Day. So there is a bit of moment of silence, but then also, let's plan for the future.
Right. And I always try and tell people, celebrate the freedom that these people gave you.
Right.
And just recognize that. So
yeah, celebrate their sacrifice as well.
Correct.
That's a way to put it as well, because obviously you're remembering what was given on this day for those freedoms.
Well, and they gave their life because they wanted us, quite frankly, to keep moving forward.
Correct. Absolutely.
Right? It's not in vain.
Right. No, absolutely not. And, and especially I always look at this and I say, given the current climate, throughout the United States, this is one thing that we can all agree on, that these brave men and women sacrificed for us to be able to have these freedoms. And so we need to kind of cling to the things that we have in common right now.
Yeah.
And keep the history. Yeah.
Yeah, so that we can debate and have the discussions that we're having today.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
You were talking about some of the history, and in the past we've talked about this going back. The first one, obviously, Armistice Day and the 11/11. But you were even talking before we got going about some stuff that went back to the Civil War as well.
Correct. Yeah, there's the history of Memorial Day actually was in 1864. There were a group of prisoners in Charleston, South Carolina. Before the South succeeded, they basically kind of left them for dead. And they buried them in shallow graves, and that's the way it remained. Probably maybe a year into it, after emancipated slaves and some soldiers that were from colored units came over to there. They actually grouped together and reburied them. They exhumed them and buried them.
So they wanted
properly.
to do the right thing.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
After the turmoil's behind us, let's go back and fix this.
Correct. And then from what I can gather, there were many, many, many children that had flowers, and they proceeded to go around the graves and covered the flowers with petals and everything. And then they had speakers from the military and came over and spoke all day long. They had representatives from churches, and then the kids picnicked there with their families. Yeah, and so when we remember that, and these are the things I think a lot of times we're losing some of our history. So when we do this, we want to incorporate a lot of the things that was the original, and we want to remember them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really interesting story, and that goes back that far. So that's cool. So I know there's been a lot, and you brought up flowers, and I know last night at our city council meeting, the Women's Auxiliary.
Yes, thank you so much.
Doing the poppies.
We're so excited for that. Thank you for the proclamation. And we're going to incorporate that as well. Now, the poppies actually came from World War I. There's a poem, I can't recall it off the top of my head, but there was a surgeon that the battlefield was obviously littered with bodies. It was a very gruesome scene, and over a course of months, he ended up going back there, and poppies grew where all the soldiers had died.
Wow.
And so there's a significance with that. And so anytime that you see a poppy, it is to remember those people that died.
And so one of the ladies actually read the poem.
Yes.
Last night at the podium. It was very touching.
Yeah.
And as the ladies were passing out the poppies, I said, "Well, can I buy one?" And they said, "No. You can donate if you like, but they're not for sale." And so there's a donation that you can give, or just take a poppy and display it, hopefully, right? Every year I buy a poppy and I put it in my car up on my visor and through the year, and then the next year I replace it with a new one,
Right.
that kind of a deal. So
and actually we're thank you for reminding me, is that VFW 5948, the post over here on Tehachapi Boulevard, they're helping us this year, and they're going to actually have a stand for poppies, so there'll be poppies there available.
Okay.
And I know, don't they go to the Walmart and Albertsons? In the past,
some of the other organizations do that.
Okay.
We just try and put that out,
Okay.
And so that's kind of the national symbol, or it has become, and so we just try and promote that. So, and like you said, if you have it there and it's you see it, you'll remember.
The one I got last night was really neat. It's a poppy, but it had a red, white, and blue ribbon on it.
Oh, nice.
So I actually have it in my office behind me. So when I'm on a Zoom call, it's on display for everybody to see.
Beautiful.
Nice. So we had that going on. I know you recently had a fundraising dinner, a spaghetti dinner. So I had it on my calendar. I was going to go, and then I got sick, so I couldn't make it. But I was looking forward to it. So how'd that go?
Wait, hold on a minute. So there was a spaghetti dinner. I didn't know about this.
Oh,
how did we get
know?
this on everybody's calendar? Because
it
I have everything on my calendar. How did I miss this?
Yeah, we posted flyers around town. I think we did Facebook, and somebody else was handling getting that to Key because
I don't do social media, so that's where you lost me.
You're not on the Facebook. That's why, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that was our absolute first one. I've tried to tell people, and the American Legion has been here in Tehachapi for more than 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time since 1953 that we've actually had a home and owned our own building. With ownership comes a lot of expense.
But by the way, the building is looking tight.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You guys are working hard on this.
Yes,
they have
we
a
are.
new sign.
The sign's amazing.
Have you seen that sign?
Yes, it's
Corey?
amazing. Yep.
Over on F Street.
Yep.
By the way, did you get a permit for that sign?
I
No,
did.
I'm kidding.
No, I did.
That is a.
You got to know somebody.
Beautiful. It's cleaned up, and we applaud you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we're doing the best that we can, and this, like I said, this is not something that we've had in the past, and it's our home, and we're proud of it, and we want to make it to last another 100 years.
For sure.
You know, and so we're doing a lot of cleanup and changing things, but it comes with an expense. So our spaghetti dinner was a fundraiser specifically geared towards that, and it was the first one that we did, and you know, there were some hiccups because we're not caterers, but overall, I think it went very well. And we did a cake and a pastry auction, and
Nice.
at the end of it, and so that was really helpful. We have one of our members, Johnny Pearson, and he's a professional auctioneer, and he did an amazing job. Yeah.
And so hopefully you did better than break even. You made
Yeah, we did. I last check, I think it was about 4,500.
Oh, nice!
All right.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
For
Yeah,
sure. Put
so-
that to good use, I'm sure.
Absolutely, yeah. So
Excellent.
we've got a list of stuff.
And you guys, we're talking about the building, but you're there for the veterans. You know, the American
Absolutely.
Legion is about the people, the men and women, a place of safe harbor, and you can meet and you can discuss things and you can work on projects.
Correct. Yes, and because everybody always asks me, you have the VFW. There's a lot of military organizations out there, and the American Legion is the oldest. It was actually started in France by soldiers that were returning, and so, like I said, it's been more than 100 years. We do a lot of things within the community, but it was primarily here for service members coming back and transitioning to civilian life. Mm-hmm. Some people need help with that. So, and as fellow veterans, that's what you do. And so we're still here, been here for 100 years, and we're going to be here for 100 more. Mm-hmm. We continue to work on that mission. Mm-hmm. And when we get the veterans together, we want strong communities. So we promote Americanism, we promote youth, and we also go and do service projects for some of the older veterans that maybe need their yard weed eated or something like that. So we do things like that.
Oh, especially this year. Man.
Yeah.
You can just actually watch them grow.
Yeah.
Yeah. This year you're going to be plenty busy in that realm, that's for sure.
And we sponsored a Little League team this year. So we're behind the Pirates.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, so and it's fun. We have all of our guys go out and kind of support them, and I know the boys love it. So
it's really important for the youth to understand organizations like the American Legion.
Yeah.
And so the more they know, the more we can educate the youth, the better off our future will be.
Right. And, the other thing is that it's the American Legion family. So it's comprised of the American Legion, which is veterans, but we also have the American Legion Auxiliary, which is typically spouses of veterans. Then they do a lot of their own projects and fundraisers and everything. Then we have the American Legion Riders, which is the motorcycle, and they do funeral escorts and different rides and fundraising. And then we have the Sons of the American Legion, which are male descendants of a veteran. And so we've got a lot of people in all these different areas, but we work together, so it's not just for veterans. If you want to get involved, please come and see me, and we could definitely use the help.
Well, you guys are utilizing that facility rather well, quite frankly. Every
Thank
night
you.
when I leave here, there's people coming in.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Waiting for a parking space. And I'm like, wait till I pull out. Then you can have my parking space after
Yeah.
I leave.
Yeah.
But no, I applaud you again.
Thank you. And on that note, I just thought the American Legion Riders, they do a lot of events. And actually this year, for the very first time, they're starting something called the Legacy Run. And it's going to start in Tehachapi and go to the coast. And so I wanted to put that out there because there's going to be a lot of motorcycles in town this weekend.
Cool.
And you'll see them because they've got the eagle on the back of their vest. and they're coming from all over California to do this ride. The Legacy Run is a scholarship program for post 9/11 service members that were killed in action. That's how it started, and now it covers people that are 50% disabled or more, and they can have their children apply for the scholarship, and they'll pay up to $20,000 a year for 4 years. People are welcome to donate money to this. It's a fantastic cause. Our post donates it to it every year. There's plenty of people that can accept donations, or if you wanted to come down and see them off. Yeah.
Also, Friday is Friday bingo night.
It is.
All
yeah.
right,
So we're going to be doing bingo. Everybody's been waiting. So yeah. So
once a month, correct? That's the
once
first
a month,
Friday.
First Friday of every month. Yeah.
Okay. And that is so. And that what time does that start?
5.
5. Okay. And you can just folks come in, buy their cards, all that good stuff at the post.
Yeah, and if you haven't played before, we have a lot of regulars that are very open to helping people, and so we have a good time. We give out some prizes. There's food available, and it's fun to do for a Friday.
And another good fundraiser to help towards maintenance and projects and all that good stuff as well.
Actually, for the bingo, all of that money is earmarked for education and scholarships.
Oh, okay.
Because we do scholarships here in town, and I don't know if you're aware, we also send several people to Boys State.
Okay.
So they actually interview and get selected, and we pay for them to go up to Sacramento and run a parallel government, a mock government, if you will. And so they run for office, they hold positions, and so people from all over the state come and do this. And then if they do really well, then they do it at a national level. Some places are only sending maybe 2 or 3, and I think this year we sent 4.
I got a feeling that the kids we send to Sacramento and run the mock government do a better job than the Sacramento. I had to say it.
Okay, we don't want to get political.
I had to say it.
So I'm thinking even more than that, quite frankly. But I applaud the program. How's that?
Thank you.
I applaud the program.
You. Yeah, and the reason we did it, I think some people were having difficulty finding suitable candidates. Mm-hmm. And I've done the interviews for the past 4 years, and I'm just blown away by some of these kids. They're motivated, they're working hard, and they come from a variety of things. Some of them are business schools, some of them are athletes, but they end up going up there and they stay there for a week and kind of learn, and they end up getting friendships with people throughout the entire state.
Well, our founding fathers envisioned, government for the people, by the people, if you will, not, career politicians, and I'm going out here, but
there you go.
But certainly it's about farmers and mechanics and business owners and people that understand what's happening, boots on the ground.
Yeah, that's because that's who's doing everything, and they know how it works.
Yeah, and when you're a career politician, you're 80 or 90 years old, you've been in the business since you were 25. For goodness sakes, you've lost touch.
Yeah,
you can't convince me otherwise.
And it's good to when you send students up there too, to understand, because the political process in Sacramento is difficult. I mean, it's challenging. I mean, you have how things become law is, it starts with an idea, then it goes to a committee, and from committee it goes to a subcommittee, from subcommittee it goes to another committee, and then it might go to, one side of the legislature for a vote, and then the other side, the Senate, for a vote. And so, there's a lot of steps and processes, and things will, not get voted on, and they'll die in committee, and then they'll come back next year. And so it's important for kids to understand that, because it's not an easy process.
What a great program.
Yeah, and the other thing is that youth today is very distant from government. They don't know how, like you said, Corey, they don't know how these things happen and process, and so they get an intimate working of how the whole system works and everything, and they at least at minimum take that away.
So I think every generation says that. What you just said, the youth. Oh, they just don't get it.
They don't get it. Yeah,
but at some point you do get it.
Yeah.
So I have faith in our youth.
Whether through a program like this or something else.
But they need leaders like you, Kevin, to help them, to educate, to offer ability to learn, right? Because if somebody doesn't kind of pull you under their wing, if you will, and educate you and train you and teach you, you only know what you're taught.
Correct. Yeah, and hopefully one of these people that we've sent up there will be in office one day.
Maybe
and I can say, we sent him.
Yeah, there you go.
Part of that success story.
We have a feeder program. So what else this summer? I mean, anything off the top of your head? I think are you guys doing Wall of Valor again for 4th of July?
Yes, I believe they're going to be doing that again. And the auxiliary, the American Legion Auxiliary puts that on.
Right.
And we just kind of assist them with that. So each one of us do these different projects, and then the other groups come to support them when they do it. So as I said, for the ALR is going to be here, but we're going to have a lot of the other members from the auxiliary, from the American Legion, from the Sons, that are all helping set up, serve food, and take down, and everything else. So
a lot of people volunteering, doing good work.
Thank you.
Now, City Hall, we still sell flags.
Yes.
Right? On your behalf. We're not a middleman. We don't take any cut, but it's, I believe it's $25 for a flag, right?
Yes.
We have them at City Hall, and that money goes directly to you. We're just facilitating it.
Yes, and that's one of our programs. I mean, and the flag cost actually went up, but we decided that we wanted to keep it the same because this is a dual program. Is that, it brings us money in, but we also want people to be proud of that flag. We want to see flags waving in Tehachapi.
So the flags are made in America, and it's assisting your programs.
Correct.
So win-win.
And they've been battle tested. So in Tehachapi, before we put them out there, we waited to see because flags don't last long up here, and this one does. It's very durable, and so we have a lot of our members. So if, hopefully nobody's offended if they come over and tell you your flag needs to be replaced. But we noticed that around town. We've even gone to people's homes and put it up for them if that's what they need. To make sure that happens.
Yeah. No, I think the other day it was about a month or so ago, terrible windstorm, and we had a couple. I think Freedom Plaza of all places that just it split because the wind was so bad, and so got Public Works over there quickly, and they actually didn't have any more in stock because they had replaced so many of them. So we're just gonna take it down for now, and then we'll put a new one.
We have
up.
Identified a gentleman in Public Works that is our flag guy.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Every day he's checking the flags.
And he's
every
checking
single day.
And if it's supposed to be a half staff day, that sort of thing, he's on top of that. So
I wish everybody would do that because we go around town and some of them they're not where they should be, or they do it on an alternate day. So we try and educate the public. So whenever we see that, we try and bring it to somebody's attention. And sometimes people just don't know, and so we try and bring that out.
I fly a flag at my house, and I always have a spare waiting. Always, if I put the new one up, I then run to City Hall or come to City Hall, of course, go see Grace, buy a new one, and just have it on the shelf.
Yeah, even that little thing you talk about education, just as something is a young Cub Scout. I learned all the flag etiquette, right? And so some of that stuff drives me nuts when I see those things because just going back to being an 8, 9, 10-year-old in Cub Scouts, right? You learned that stuff. Yeah. And so it's not that difficult to learn, but when you see it, it then starts to be like a pet peeve of yours. Right?
Yeah, it is, and it is for us. So that's why these guys do that, and we're not trying to have conflict with anyone. We just want to let them know, that we all need to do this. There's certain things you do with the flag, and there's certain things you do not, and we want everybody to know about that.
It's all about respect.
Yes.
Yeah. Very cool.
Last year, we had helped with the flag retirement. I don't know who is doing it this year. If you have a flag that needs to be retired, you can bring it to us.
Okay.
Yeah. We've taken them at different events that were out there. So if you see the American Legion, approach one of them and we can do it.
And same as City Hall. We do accept retired flags, and we save them for that event.
Yes.
And we should be having our flags up soon, right? It's about that time of
so
year.
Memorial, I think before Memorial Day.
Memorial Day, yeah.
And those flags we also purchased from the American Legion, and flags all over, right? Tehachapi Boulevard, Mill Street, F Street, Green Street, they're everywhere. We're proud to do it, but they'll be going up in the next probably 2 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. And they stay up through Veterans Day. So those are another ones too. Like we obviously have a lot of civic facilities and that sort of thing with flagpoles, but then we put them all over downtown. We'll monitor those all year because every once in a while something happens. Maybe one caught a branch and it tore, and so we're always, we're monitoring those as well. Or the bracket broke and it fell down or something. So
us too, we keep them on hand. We also have to keep the POW MIA flags on hand, spares and things like that.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, Kevin, I appreciate your time. Again, we've got Monday, May 29th, the Memorial Day celebration. This is going to be the parade, 10 a.m. Starting right there on F Street behind the hotel. It's going to end at Central Park. There'll be a ceremony. Father Wes Clare is going to be the keynote speaker at that ceremony and honoring the fallen there. And then all sorts of things happening at Post 221. Your website's post221.org, correct?
That's correct.
Awesome.
And if I can, you mentioned Veterans Day. I just wanted to give a short plug is that over the years we've evolved that, and it's become a really great family event. before it would have the ceremony and everything else. And we've tried to include things with children, obstacle course and everything else. So please consider coming out for that with your family.
Cool.
And having a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we also, I think, we've kicked this around for a few years, and we'd like to bring back, in the past there was kind of a small kids parade that happened during 4th of July, and then things changed. But I think we'd like to maybe bring that back this year. Maybe just a short route, probably here from City Hall up Robinson and down E to the park, and maybe a quick loop around the park. So
absolutely,
love to have you guys help us out with that. Maybe
absolutely.
facilitate that. Have people come and they can decorate bikes and
when
wagons and scooters.
When my kids were growing up, that parade existed, and we're thinking about bringing it back. So it'd be a great thing.
Yeah.
Maybe we can just have folks decorate stuff in here at the Legion, and then
whatever make your little tractors or wagons or bicycles or whatever.
Have a little rolling closure with the police department that rolls them in front and takes them to
just a controlled chaos. Right?
Yeah,
it'd be fun, like the Rugrats or something. But
we'll put it together.
Fun.
Cool.
And so I just texted Tyler, our Public Works deputy director, and he said early next week for the flags.
There you go.
So American flags.
So probably about the time this comes out, we'll probably have flags up.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, Kevin, appreciate your time again. And again, the website, post221.org. And you can email us as well, media@tehachapiCityHall.com if you're interested in registering in advance to be a part of the Memorial Day Parade. And also we'll get that on to Kevin and company at the American Legion. So anything else that we missed?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. All right. Well, folks, again, any ideas, show-wise, or information regarding Memorial Day, you can email us media@TehachapiCityHall.com, and we'll catch you again next time on Tehachapod.
Tehachapod is a conversation about Tehachapi, featuring the community members who make this such a special place to call home. If you have a question or a thought you'd like to share, email media@TehachapiCityHall.com. Thank you to Gary Mazzola for sharing his song, This is Tehachapi.